So I'm just finishing off some. So I'm just finishing off a small electronics project I started. My daughter's in Australia dressing up as Ghostbusters, the people out of Ghostbusters. So they're making the uniform, and then they're making their own proton pack, the thing they wear on their back. So they asked me if I could help them make some lights for the proton pack. Now there is a kit you can buy on eBay, a light kit, but it's quite expensive, and they're trying to do everything as cheap as they can. So Dad, can you help? So I done a bit of research about what the lights on the proton pack are like, what the lights do and everything. So I decided to give it a go myself. Now I've never done electronics before. I know very little about electronics, but I thought I'll give it a try. So I've done some research on what the lights on the pack look like, and then after finding out a bit about how it all looks on the pack, I worked out on how you could make it. So I went on a website in China here, and I bought a kit. So this is the kit here. These kits make this little circuit board here. I'll just put that there. So with this circuit board here, that's the board as you finish it, except all your lights run along here. I'm not using the lights here. I've put wires on it, and then I've got LEDs on the end of this wire. But the kit makes it so when you turn it on, the lights come on, and then they go on one at a time. So they just run along this way, then they start again, run along, run along, run along. It's called an LED chaser. Now you can buy these kits on eBay or something like that in Australia for like $2 something, which is like so cheap. So you get the circuit board, and you get all your components and all your LEDs and instructions. And I think the one you buy from eBay, the instructions will more than likely be in English. But for $2, they're, I think, a really simple kit, which you can put together yourself. Of course, I bought this here in China, and it costed me like 50 cents. So I just bought a big box of them. So this particular LED chaser kit is really good because you can use it for quite a few things on the Ghostbusters proton pack set. So in the proton pack there's a blue light which runs up and down on the back of the proton pack, so you can use an LED chaser for that. And then there's a thing called a cyclotron, a round thing on the back of the proton pack, and there's lights which flash inside that. Now I've seen other people who are making themselves, they just buy these little generic lights and they just put them in, but I decided I can use the chaser kit for that as well. And then instead of putting the lights on the circuit board, I've ran the lights individually inside it. I will show you. So this is the blue lights in the proton pack I've made, but I've put a double set of LEDs, and of course instead of using red LEDs which come with these kits, I've used blue LEDs, but then I've actually just put another LED next to it. So that's the lights for that. And then inside the back of, I've made this thing myself. This is a cake tin, obviously. I've just got a cake tin, and then I've cut 4 holes in it, painted that part black. The girls are going to paint the rest black later. And then I've used the LED chaser kit in here, but I've ran the wires, so the wires run to all these LEDs here. So now instead of it running up and down just in a line, it runs randomly around this. So in the back you'll see all the red lights flashing randomly. And seeing this is a 10 LED chaser kit, there's 10 places for your LEDs. There's 2, 4, 6, 8 on these, so I had 2 spare. So I've just added this side fitting here, which is just copying how the proton pack was made. I've just put an extra 2 LEDs here which will flash randomly as well. So these chaser kits are quite cheap and easy to use for making this proton pack thing. And then also I've been making lots of things for my girls. So also there's a ghost trap which they have in the movie as well. So I've made this little contraption here which will go inside a box, and this will be the Ghostbusters ghost trap. And then same thing, I've used an LED chaser kit, ran all wires off the circuit board to all the individual LEDs, and then I bought green LEDs, and then these will flash randomly when you turn it on from the set. And one other thing, just put that back, and one other thing, this is what I'm just finishing off now, and this one here is the last one, is the girls thought it would be quite cool that if they turn the when they have the gun for the proton pack, when they, like, if there's a switch you could turn it on. So what I've done with this one, it's the same tracer kit, but I've ran all the wires off it, and I've put a speaker, a little beeper, electronic beeper on it, and then I've ran all the wires and made them into this little circle thing here. So it's got a red LED in the middle, and then blue LEDs around the outside, and then a speaker. So these will go in series, so the red flashes, then all the blues flash, and then the speaker will, the buzzer will beep. So this is another simple thing you can use using the same chaser kit, but it will look quite cool with this Ghostbusters setup. So I'll just finish this one off here tonight, because I'm just making these in my spare time. I'll finish this one off, and then I'll wire it, I'll lay it all out, and then I'll show you how it all works. As I said, I've not done electronics before. Of course I've had a soldering iron because I work on cars and motorbikes and stuff like that. So there's a few things I just bought specially to do this project. You don't really need to buy the special things for it. I did because I think to myself, I'm definitely going to keep working on electronics now. It's a lot of fun, so I'll keep using the different tools. The main tools I bought was this DC power supply. This is a 10 amp 30 volt DC power supply. So when I want to test things, I can turn this on, and then I can set my volts and my amps, and then that's what the power goes to this lead here, so I can plug it onto the boards, and then I can test them to make sure that they run. So I'm just running it at 6 volts. Of course you don't need to buy, that cost me, in China I think it cost me $40 or something for that power supply. In Australia I think they're about $80 or something on eBay, or $90 for the 10 amp one. But you can obviously just use one of these battery packs to test your things. Just put some batteries in there, and then like 3 will give you 4.5 volts, or 4 will give you 6 volts. I'm running all this at 6 volts, so you could just use one of these for testing, just a battery pack, or you could use something else which is producing somewhere between 4 and 6 volts. Like USB charger thing, like one of these chargers which has a USB cable on it. You could cut that and get the 2 powers out, because you could get 5 volts out of that. So that's one thing I bought. I bought this little magnifying glass thing with the tweezers on it, which is really helpful, because I'm old and I need glasses anyway. So, but with this, once you put the circuit board behind it, it's a lot clearer to see everything. So that's a really handy thing I bought especially for this project. And I also bought this little tool here. This is just a little multifunction tester, and you can put all different parts in, like your capacitors or resistors or diodes, and you can actually just put into this little tester, and you click it on, push the test button, and it tells you what the part is. I just bought this because I thought this was really cool. I seen a review on eBay, and I thought that's really handy because I know nothing about electronics, and with resistors and everything, they've got all different colour stripes on them to know the values, and I have no idea how that works. Well, it's difficult because all the colours look the same to me. So I just bought this because with this kit, I can actually, if I'm not sure what something is, because it uses a few different value resistors, I can just slip them into this here quickly, push the button, and it tells me whether it's a 1K or a 10K, and I think there's a 2.2K one as well. So I just put it in here to test it, as opposed to trying to look up the colour codes. And it's handy to see whether any resistors or any electronics you're using are faulty. So seeing I'm going to keep playing with electronics, I thought this might be a handy tool for me. This was around $30 as well, I think, something like that, 30 Australian dollars. So I bought that. I bought some heat shrink, which I needed anyway, so I bought some heat shrink just for doing the wiring. So it looks nice and neat here where I've done all the LEDs together just by putting some heat shrink around the end, and all these wires here just to put a bit of heat shrink to make it look nice and tidy. So righto. Okay, so I'll finish this one here, and then I'll lay out my wiring and show you what I do. Okay, this board is all finished. So I'll now try making it into the row of lights on it. I want the red in the centre. So number 1. Number 2. Number 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. So now I want to put the red in the centre. Kind of wrap them semi-equally. Something like that. That's terrible. I'll test it and see. And that's basically the effect we're after. Try to get these lights a little bit evener, more even. This one here needs to come up. Okay, that's that. Now I can set everything up. Okay, I've finished wiring all this board together. So these are the finished lights, and so I've actually made 2 sets of these. So I'll just move this out of the way. So this is the cyclotron from the back of the proton pack, and this is its blue light, and then this is the switches which will be in the proton pack gun. So this is the proton pack gun, these are the lights from the gun, this is the light at the end of the gun, and then I've got one cable going down which will go back to the cyclotron itself. So when you turn this switch on, these lights come on, 2 red LEDs and 5 yellow LEDs, and then also a bank of 6 white LEDs. They will be inside the gun. So a red light will come on and those lights will come on the gun, but the actual cyclotron will actually be having lights flashing inside it as well, and then 2 blue and red light on the side, and then this on the proton pack will be going up and down. And then if you click your other switch, the end of the gun will start flashing with the red and blue LEDs, and the little buzzer will go. So you can turn off the proton pack, and then you can turn off the actual gun. So that's it. This is all just the simple chaser, LED chaser circuits. So that's the chaser circuit working in the back of here. It just chases around those 4 there, and then the 2 on the side. And the good thing about these chaser circuits is if you want to slow it down, you can slow it right down, or you can speed it right up to ridiculously fast. So I think something like that would probably look good on the proton packs. And then the same is with these ones too. It's got, seeing it's the same circuit, you can slow it down or you can speed it up. So you want to have, and then these ones too, there's the same board. So that's it. That's my proton pack kit kind of thing I've made, just using the LED chaser boards, and then yeah, just a couple of switches to turn it on and off. And then I'll just quickly show you the one I've made for the ghost trap. So I'll unplug this. So with this one, my negative, my active. So now same thing, I've just used a little piece of perspex for the switch, and then when you turn this on, inside the ghost trap all these green lights will flash randomly and a red light comes on here. And then you can turn it off, and I've made it so the switch you can turn it up or down, it doesn't matter. So these are just for the little ghost trap, and this is just a simple setup as well. It's just a battery pack, just an on-off switch, a red light, a battery pack, and then the LED chaser kit. So that's the proton packs I've made, or the proton pack kits. And of course, seeing my girls in Australia are twins, I've made 2 of everything. So these are ready to send to Australia. Yeah, these are really good kits. I've had no problems with them. As I said, they come like this with all the parts in it, and you just basically solder it together and then put power to it. Some of the kits, you have an option of paying an extra $1 or something and getting a battery pack to plug into it. But yeah, they all work perfectly, and so this is 1, 2, I've got 3, 4, so I've put 8 of them together, and all of them are working absolutely perfectly. No problems, no faulty parts. So for like off eBay for $2, and like in China 50 cents. But yeah, they're well worth the money. Hope you found it interesting. This is a nice do-it-yourself proton pack kit, which I think anyone could really tackle if they've got a soldering iron. Hope you enjoyed.